Hi, my name is Kerry and I am from Be Mentioned. And today I'm going to be interviewing Donna Arnold, who is the creator of the VBH network group. And she's going to tell us more about what the VBH group is all about and how it can help you in your small business. Donna is someone who I've only known for a very short time, but I already know that she's an amazing person who is just wanting to help other people grow their businesses successfully, organically. She's actually an online business manager, an OBM, and she has a long history of working in business. And she knows her stuff and she wants to band together with other people who know their industry well so that we can help each other to be able to support each other and grow our businesses. So make sure that you stay tuned to learn more about who Donna Arnold is and also what the VBH networking group is all about. Today I'm interviewing Donna Arnold from the Visionary Business Hub, and she is now running a group to support other business women. And I've worked with Donna only for a very short time, but in the little time that I have known her, she gives me such joy every day when I see an email or a DM coming to me. And sometimes you just need that little pickup, and her smiling face definitely helps you feel good in your day. How you going, Donna?
Oh, not too bad. Thank you for that intro. That was lovely. Yeah.
Well, you do. I hear this little ding and I'm like, oh, it's actually Donna messaging me.
So I'll give you something funny too. Okay, so I'll open it up and be a little bit more relaxed so you get funny stuff come through now. That was nice. Thank you. Thank you. It does make me feel good, actually. You know, if I've got work with people that are really happy and happy to work with, it makes it so much easier. So, yeah.
It certainly does. It definitely does.
Yeah.
So, Donna, you have a background in travel and it's actually part of who you are. You love to travel. So tell me, how did you actually get into travel? Was it a goal or was it just something that grabbed your attention from a young age?
Well, it was always a case of since I was 6, I wanted to travel, and I grew up with this mantra in my head: get paid to travel, get paid to travel. And with the assistance of my mother, I was going to be an air hostess, which is not called an air hostess these days, but anyway, an air hostess. So I structured my high school curriculum just focused on being an air hostess, so I didn't do any academic stuff, and I didn't do any secretarial or anything like that. It was all about being an air hostess. And then when I was 14, I bumped into a young lady who was a couple of years older than me, and she was actually going through becoming an air hostess herself. And I happened to say, yeah, I'm going to do that too. And she said, you can't. And I said, why not? And she said, because you're too short. And my world just fell apart. I was 2 inches too short, very short. So there was no way, that I was going to get anywhere close to it at all. So I really didn't know what to do. But my love for travel is still there. And it doesn't matter how often I travel, I have to travel again. So, and there's a couple of countries that I won't go to, but the rest of the world I'm open to. So yeah, so it was just a case of what did I do? I sulked because I couldn't be an air hostess because I couldn't travel. There was no such thing as cruise ships back then. You had to go to the UK to London for that, but that was so distant. And what I thought later is if I had career guidance counselor or something like that, they would have helped me along, because what I could do is, because I didn't have a mother, I actually made my own clothes. So while the girls at school would be fluffing around making one skirt, I made the skirt, and then I matched a jacket, and then I also had a bag. So I had it all made the shape. And if somebody had said to me, Donna, you could do fashion designer, and you could go to New York, London, Milan and Rome, I would have been gone. Yeah, I just couldn't think outside that square. So I sulked and just worked and had my family and got into travel as a consultant, I don't know, about 20 odd years later. So yeah, it was, yeah. And of course by that time my kids had grown up anyway, and I could travel. So that would have been a killer to actually work in the travel industry, but not travel because you had ankle biters, kids hanging off. Oh, yeah. So that's where it was. So the travelers, and I still love to travel. I still love it, and I miss it. And it's a case of if COVID wasn't around, I'd be gone again now. So so travel is my number one love. So that's
it's clearly a pure passion that I've seen from the little time that I've known you, that the travel. As someone who has never left the country, I don't even have a passport, so I find it really interesting. I live my life through other people's travels, so seeing your posts and things like that about traveling, and New Zealand is probably as far as I would actually want to travel. I want to see Australia first.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I have a saying for that, is because being in the industry, something that cripples a lot of people from traveling is the fact that by the time they turn 70, the travel insurance goes up and up and up. So you may not be really that bad, but it will affect your travel insurance. So while I agree, see Australia first, see your own country first, I believe while you're fit and healthy, get out there, do your traveling, and then come back when the insurance is just all too much. You've got your grey nomad and travel around Australia. So
I'm an absolutely terrible flyer, so the idea of being stuck on an airplane for 18 hours or something like that just sounds horrendous to me. So a flight to Melbourne is plenty for me. Like flying's not in me. I wanted to ask you, you actually are an online business manager or an OBM now. So have you got business background? Is that how come you've decided to follow this career now?
Yeah, see, before COVID, I was actually focusing on travel. I had a travel website, and I was really focusing on looking after my clients and offering them reputable operators. And COVID has really shown the true colours of some of these operators. So it's very hard to sort of be honest and offer reputable operators when we already know their history. So, and some of the big ones are like that too. So I was always about quality and value for money. So then I thought, well, I can't do that. I do have another interest, which is ancestors. I love researching my ancestors, and I intend to travel and go to UK and follow up, and go to Europe and follow up there. But that's not really viable. So the funny thing is, I just decided, well, I'll just, as I've always done, fall back on my admin, and somebody suggested just doing it online instead of just going and getting a job, doing it online. So I thought, well, of course. So it's a lot of people find it all very ho-hum, but I've run managed offices, and a company that was in the 3 states of Australia, 3 warehouses and 2 sales offices, looked after their stock and the logistics, and travelled down to Sydney every month doing the end of month, and supervised the staff there as well as Brisbane. So, it was so easy to do that sort of thing. So it was just a case of, I loved it anyway. And so I just thought, I'll pick it back up again and I'll do it here. So my key thing is systems. I found that, when I started with a new employer, that there were so many things within their system. I thought, I could fix this, and I was allowed to sometimes, and other times not so much so. But I could sort of streamline, and just made life a lot more easier. So from the entrepreneur's point of view, or the business owner, the small business owner, is a case of they can focus on their niche, do their thing, and let me look after their office, management, their admin. Alternatively, tidy it up for them, structure it for them, rectify a few things, and then leave them to it if they want to handle it, and I'd just be in the background, so do a bit of consulting as well. So so back into that again. I just find it's very easy, and I'm very comfortable doing that sort of thing. But managing the offices, not so much as in doing the VA stuff. I would oversee VAs. It's the OBM. So that's what. So
you found that COVID has actually helped you to launch your business better, because of a lot of us are working at home now. Like myself, I work from home and I run people's businesses from home, basically the same as what you do. So COVID has definitely helped our kind of industry, definitely.
Yeah. I think Australia is a bit behind with the online stuff, but COVID has really given us a bit of a boot in the backside, so we can see, a lot of people can see what is possible from those working at home. I mean, just recently I've seen ads on TV, or not ads so much, news information, previews about businesses. I just saw today people, some group are actually wanting those who work from home to get a pay cut, because it's costing other businesses in the city, because no one's there on a Friday, or just ban them from taking Fridays off so they can keep a balance. So it's really is, there are a lot of people working from home, and the world's going to be totally restructured, and that's COVID. So from that point of view, I'm very grateful for COVID to help get things started. So and of course, I've got my networking system and my ladies connection group, and people who are doing that sort of Zoom and webinars, getting together and doing the same thing as networking, they're not going back to the old style, the traditional networking, because it takes time to get ready, it takes time to drive there, it takes time to drive home, and everything can be achieved online anyway. So I believe it will go back, but not as full on as it used to be. It will, Zoom, online will be just taking over and doing all the networking there. So
we've all definitely had to learn how to pivot our businesses to succeed through this COVID. And I was just reading a report earlier saying that, a lot of us were hoping that 2021 was going to see it be different, but they're now forecasting at least the start of 2021, we're going to be very similar to what we are right now, borders closing, and we just really don't know, do we, what the future holds.
Yeah, so I just think from this point, don't wait and think it's going to be different. Work from what you've got and just keep working, because I mean, the benefits of going online, it just saves so much money and time, and with technology it just makes it so easy. Something else I've noticed too is over in Europe, they're already doing this, and this is called co-working. Some people, Australia's not quite with it yet, but is very big overseas. They're once again using their groups and getting together, and it's not a case of, well, one structure is where the host comes on and structures accountability sessions, which is also a bit of co-working, and then also in that same concept with that group, members at any time can access the room, as they want to call it, and co-work. So basically create their own little mini masterminds, I suppose. I was in a brand new one today. I met a lady who today, and we're doing it every week now, she's very similar to me, and we had a great accountability session, 45 minutes, and made suggestions for each other. And it's a case of, I can see it easily turning into more of a co-working, where you just get online together, because the way the prices are structured online, it doesn't really cost anything anymore. So you can get on together, do your work, but you just go, oh, by the way, blah, 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 just like you would if you were in an office. So that's something that I would like to have in my group, the Visionary Business Hub, is creating these places where there's someone there. Hey, do you want to do some co-working? Is anybody around to join me in the room? So yeah, a meeting room or whatever it is. So yeah, so I would love that. And I found that there was a lot of the younger generation love the idea of working together and having someone there, just so they can have a break, refresh, ask a question, and then get back to work again. So yeah, that's becoming big. So yeah, I'd like the idea of doing that, adding that. Yeah.
Yeah, because working at home can be very lonely, and especially, when we were in lockdown, I know I myself am an introvert, so I had no issues with staying at home and working. But I know a lot of my friends who are working at home that are extroverts, they just didn't cope. They need that, that interaction with other people. So this kind of co-working would definitely help them, because they would have that support group sitting there as well. Yeah.
So maybe it's called online co-working. Maybe that word would work. It's just trying to work it out. But I'm an introvert as well. I used to be an extrovert, and they say if you've had some sort of sudden emotional upheaval that can flip you. And I've, while I always thought I was an introvert, every time I keep doing the Myers-Briggs thing, it keeps, I always thought I was an extrovert, sorry. Every time I do the Myers-Briggs things, I come out as an introvert these days. And I thought, well, you know, I'm quite happy. Like last Sunday, I went and did the sunrise photos, and then I went and took photos of grapes on a vineyard and flowers and animals and birds, and, you know, so I'm quite happy doing on my own. So yeah, it's the same thing, but so I can understand. I like the idea of having someone there to talk to once in a while. And it's good. You can do it that way because you can say, you choose whether you want to communicate or not, you know. So I think it's a perfect sort of situation. Perfect situation. Yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely.
So you mentioned your network. So do you want to let the people know a little bit more about what the VBH network is all about?
Yes, sure. So how that came about is I'm a member of a group over in Europe. Now, in their summer, it wasn't too bad. I was quite happy to hang around until 7 p.m. my time to join up with them and co-work, which was really good because I found that, gee, I did a lot of work. You know, the host would come on for 5 or 10 minutes at the start at 7 p.m. my time, 10 a.m. their time, I think it was. And what are you going to do tonight, Donna? And I said, well, I'm going to write out a few posts for this or this. Okay, right. An hour later, she set the timer. An hour later, he'd come back. And, you know, it was a case, how'd you go? And everybody else who was sitting in on the session would say the same thing, I did this or whatever. There were no knuckle raps or anything like that. If you didn't get done, it was just that's the way it is. And then you went and sat for another hour and you continued on your work. And I was amazed at how much work we did. So that was great, but it was getting to a case of then she was having some other social, which ended up being 12:30 at night, and I tried and I went to bed early and then had the alarm wake me up, but it was just ruined my next day. The whole day I couldn't think, couldn't cope. So I just thought I can't do this, and I thought got to do something over here in Australia. Hadn't really looked far, but just decided I'm going to do this myself. I'm going to set this up. So it's a case of small business owners get together and we come within the group, and it's financial membership, this is. And for that, in return, they get lots of publicity, promotions. Something that I did notice in other groups is that when there is a networking session, there's always a guest speaker. And I found when I sat in on those that I got very bored very quickly listening to the person go on for about an hour or so. And then there were the ones that were so good and made lots of money, and one of the top dealers in Facebook, and they did this and they were, I'm so good, I'm so good. So I thought, I don't like that. It's the case, we've got all these people sitting here, we've all got businesses. Let's make it about us. So instead of having a guest speaker, we all take it in turns. And I did see one lady who came in as a guest speaker, and she sort of had her structured like that because her business was very hard to put in a shelf. So she said, I'm so-and-so and I do this for about 10 minutes. And then she opened up for questions for an hour, and she had questions just coming all night, what she did. So from that concept, I decided with the Visionary Business Hub, that's what we'll do. We'll come in, we'll introduce ourselves, we'll get a set time, we'll talk about ourselves, and we'll open it up for questions. And then after a certain time, we go on to the next one. So everybody gets the same chance every time they attend to promote their own business, but also still have the opportunity to ask questions of the other ones as well. And as it's only a young group at the moment, that's fine. When it gets bigger, we're going to go into pods on another session on another day. And we'll break out rooms, and there'll be 3 or 4 of us, and we'll be able to talk probably a little bit more in depth. So that one, you sort of got between the two formats, there's an up and a down. Like the main format, open forum, is everybody gets to hear you, whereas it's only very brief. Whereas the other format, not everybody gets to hear you, but they get to know you a little bit more, a little bit deeper. So that's my plan, is to have another one of those. And of course, I intend to actually have it running when we're up full time, full go, so to speak. having a mastermind, and I love those where you just sit and say, I'm thinking about doing this, but I want to do that, or should I do that? And of course, it's amazing how other people see a different aspect. And so I want to set one of those as well. So between, over a month, there's at least 12 sessions a month, and the members get that to promote themselves. Plus, I get to promote on my website by donnaarnold.com, and also a podcast which is coming. And I've just released today, launched my ebook, and there's opportunity to promote in there as well, because the feature is always going to be a member on a one-on-one chat Zoom like we are tonight. So that'll just go out to my email list, and a lot of people will hear about the group and also hear about the member who's the feature, as well as the ebook having lots and lots of business tips as well. So that's a free ebook. So that's my plan so far. I do have other plans in the fray, but I'll just keep them under wraps for now.
Yeah. Share that later. The one thing that I found really interesting in your group is definitely the friendships that you form. I've only been in a few of the networking sessions, and I've already had quite a few of the ladies add me as a friend on Facebook, and it's kind of cute watching, the different ladies coming and asking me to join. And some of them I haven't met before in your networking group, but they obviously get me from your page. Yeah. And they've added me through that. So it's really good to be able to form friendships with people, other women who are in business as well.
Yeah, that's exactly right, because it's amazing, as we all know. It's a case of we spend money with people we know, and I'm always grown up big believer in, if someone gives me a referral, I will try that person first before I go anywhere else and try somebody just plucked out of the blue. So it's sad that some people have a negative mindset when it comes to networking. I don't understand that. I just think it's a great place to start talking. Social media is great, but when you start right at the very beginning, you've got to like it. You like and you comment. And if you're an introvert, 2 to 3 months, but it's gone past before you get to the point of actually starting to talk to them. So why not just go into a group and as an introvert, it's so easy. You can sit quietly and listen. You don't necessarily have to promote yourself. You can sit back and observe, but you'll still get all the information. And of course, the extroverts, they can just jump in and do their thing anyway. So everybody wins. And that's what I see about the Ladies Connection group, the VBH. Everybody wins. So I'm just I think that I love the idea. I love the idea of connecting people. I love it when, two ladies on our networking session, Zoom session, go, I need to speak to you later. Oh, right. There's a connection. Boom. Yeah, which is exactly what I want to do. And I'm a big believer in spreading information. If we found out some really interesting information that will help people, let us know. I tell the world. If it's going to be beneficial, I tell the world. I remember, for example, I read from an American lady friend on Facebook. She just happened to comment about she had trouble with her Kajabi. And so she tried to fix it and couldn't fix it because it is a bit complicated, apparently.
Very.
And her Kajabi VA, whiz bang, fix, done. So she made a comment and said, does anybody need this Kajabi whiz bang girl? And, a dozen people said, I do. So from that, I went into the Australian Visionary, not the Visionary Business Hub, the Australian Virtual Assistant group, and put up in a post exactly the same thing. So saying to any Australian virtual assistants, if you've got Kajabi skills, say it, get out there, because there's a lot of people who have memberships and courses. They don't want to run Kajabi. They want somebody else to run it. They want a VA, so, and a lot of them come back and said to me, thanks for that, so this is the sort of thing I like to do. Don't just sit on it. If you have some information, let them know. Some people will know, or some people might not know, but I just think let's get above the noise. It's just too hard out there. So we just need to help each other, which is what it's all about.
Definitely. Yeah. So if you could tell your 20-year-old self anything with all of the experience you've had in your life, what now would you tell that young girl?
Isn't that funny? Because the first thing that came to my mind is don't settle and have a family yet. But, you know, because I had them young, by the time I was 40, they were off my hands, you know, so I was still extremely young and enjoying life. So I probably, you know, wouldn't I wouldn't say that. But what I probably would say is, if there was that voice in my head would say, Donna, go and find someone who can talk to you, or just go and talk to a teacher or someone to say, well, this is what I'd like to do. And, you know, once again, it goes back to that mastermind situation. If we were in that mastermind situation, somebody would have thought about it and pulled it out and said, you can do this. Whereas because we all have our tunnel vision, you know, I couldn't.
We all know everything at 20, don't we?
Yeah, well, it's just a case, can't do anything, whereas other people can say, hey, you could do this and you could do that, you know. So that's probably what I would have done. My big thing is to my 20-year-old self is go and talk to somebody and say, this is what, you know, what I'd like to do, you know, what else can I do with what I like to do, so to speak, my skills. So, and I would have been down the road with, I would have been probably have met Chanel and... Who else? There's one who was born over in Morocco too, I think, or Tangier somewhere. I can't remember his name. Some French dude. Anyway, he was born there, but he went and made it big over in France. So, yeah, I'd probably do that. I think that's probably that makes sense. Still get to travel.
I think I would have told my 20-year-old self to buy houses because I could have been a millionaire by now.
Yes.
I always think of, like, I had the opportunity when I was around 20 to buy a house in my hometown. Yes. And it was just ridiculous, you know, like $50,000 or something, you know, something ridiculous like that. And now those houses are like $450,000.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not Brisbane prices, but still, like, you know, you bought a few of those, you'd be sitting pretty right now.
Well, yeah, I actually did that in the last marriage. We had 4 houses, and we bought those within 5 years. You know, it was just bang, 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 bang. Wow. And it was a case, I managed them. That was basically what I did. I still had my job, but I managed them and I had them in the hands of real estate, but I'm the one who looked after it all. He just signed where we had to sign when we bought another one and when we bought another one. So we did very well. And yeah, it would be a case of, if I was in that situation again, that's exactly what I would do. Yeah, because I do like and getting involved in investment properties and things like that. Yeah, the biggest thing is trying to find a real estate that will look after you, because that was
definitely.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I never thought about it. See, I'm focusing on my travel.
So you have this amazing zest for life. You know, I see you on Facebook all the time. You know, you just even mentioned it. You know, on the weekend you went and took photos of the sunsets, and you love going to the winery to take photos, and you know, you're up early every morning going for a bike ride or a walk. Where do you think that came from?
Where did it come from? I don't know, because I know as a young person, you know, sleeping in was good.
Still is.
I don't know. And, you know, opportunity to take sunset photos is every single day. But I never remember. And on sunrise photos, it's just so disappointing when I only do it on weekends, because I've got other things to do and I need to focus on work during the week. So I'm very rigid with that. And I set the alarm and just go down there and find out that, you know, the clouds. I jumped up one morning and I forgot there was clouds and rain, and well, we'll go back to bed. Where that came from, I don't know. I think it's part of this. I believe it came at the same time as when I flipped from an extrovert to an introvert. So I've missed so many parties this year, and it doesn't worry me that I've missed parties. I'm quite happy to plod along and be ready so I can get up and, you know, do the bike ride or do the photos or whatever. So quite happy with my own company, which I suppose, you know, they say you've got to learn to love yourself. So
you do.
Yeah. Yes. And maybe that's what it is. I don't know where it came from really. Yeah, but I do love it. I do love it. And I, you know, I took I don't know if you saw it. Did I post it? Yeah, I did. I took a video of the sunrise. So I take a few photos because there's a fraction of time now as the sun comes up before it all turns yellow. And I don't like it all yellow. I like as the sun's coming up, you can still see the blue of the sky and the blue of the water and the green and whatever. Really, really pretty. And then there's the color of the light coming through. And as soon as I've done that, I go to the video and I'll do a live or a video. Here it is. Watch it, everybody. Here it is. Like I said, Sunday. Oh, it's about 10 to 5. Sun's coming up. Isn't it gorgeous? So, yeah, it's just beautiful. Colour. Love colour. So maybe that's, yeah.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah. Well, you know, my vineyard photos are all about black grapes on a green vine.
Yeah.
So they've informed me that it's February. So she said, come back at the end of January. What did she say? Come back early, January. She said, if we have too much rain, they'll ripen quicker. Oh,
yeah.
So that was really good. So, yeah. So, and I've got more photos. Being in the botanical gardens, there are lilies, water lilies, and just lots of different flowers that I've taken photos of with the colour, and just love all that as well. And kookaburra. Yeah. Lots. He was my star of the Sunday. Lots of photos. He was quite happy just to sit there while the camera just kept going, click, 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 click. Yeah. So yeah, I honestly don't know where that came from. Yeah. But wait till I get overseas.
It's good to see that, because it definitely does make the people that are around you feel, you know, good. I mean, it always makes me smile when I see your posts. And, you know, when you do your videos and things like that, it always makes me smile. And I see that you're so happy and full of life. It can pick you up when you're feeling a little down, because, as you know, I've had a really busy couple of months. So
yes,
I need to find the goodness in life at the moment.
Well, you can sleep in Boxing Day, maybe.
I have a 4-year-old, so sleeping in isn't an option. I haven't slept in for, my oldest is 13, so a good 13 years I haven't had a sleep in.
Oh, okay. Right. Yeah, okay then.
Was there anything else you wanted to share with us?
No, I think I've sort of covered it. It's a case of I'm just really passionate about the Visionary Business Hub. I really believe that if we get together and help each other out and I want to create this community of sharing and caring. I know it sounds, I can't think of the word right now, but it sounds all fake and everything, but it's so true. It's a case of let's help each other. That's the biggest thing. Let's get stuff out there and help each other just to be that little bit a step ahead, and instead of just hanging and following, which is what I'm about. So I'm very keen to really get that one going. Very much so.
I definitely agree with you, having that support team behind you and knowing that, you know, there are other women that are in business that are feeling the same way. Yes. And if anything that COVID has taught us, we all need to have that backup. You know, a lot of people have suffered through COVID with, you know, depression and anxiety, and having that backup of having people around us definitely.
Yeah. Something that I want to say too is I noticed after talking to this lady that I'm now doing accountability with, she's exactly the same mind. What I've noticed is there are those major courses for the people who are interested in starting their own business or doing their own business. But as we know, we have our favorite thing we like to do in our business. And what I've noticed is that while we may get a coach or a trainer in this or a trainer in that, there's little things, there's little steps that have been missing. So, and over, you know, I started a couple of years ago in the online business, and I did notice there were gaps that your trainer or your mentor that you spend lots of money with, they just assume, you know, and I know my terminology when it comes to the word assume, it makes an ass out of you and me. So something that the VBH group is going to do is we're working together, and we're creating workshops and workbooks, just a little bit of a snippet of the future with all these small pieces. Now, I remember, because I came up from admin management and office management and logistics, as I said, I didn't have to worry about the forecasting for the whole business. So that element is missing. I had to learn that the hard way and from bits and pieces. So that's, for example, one section that somebody who's decided, I'm going to do a business online because I really love this, they're probably not going to be aware of that. The goal planning is another thing as well. So all those little things like that is things that the Visionary Business Hub is also going to look at and add value for the members. So there are all these small things that they can do within the group as a member. So that's something that I just thought I'd mention, because there are a lot. And for example, every time a tool comes out, new platforms, I don't know how to do that, so Trello is a good one, little things like that. So there's so many different ways that you can create uniformity, create a faster way to process certain things in your business. So we're creating, as you know, Kerry, we're creating some workshops and also workbooks in regards to those platforms. So people, keep an eye out, because it's coming. It's coming. There are lots of people I know there, and when I talked to this lady just the other day, and she had exactly the same thing. There are lots of people I know who don't realize there are things they don't know yet. You don't know what you don't know. So yeah, this is going to help you along when you realize, oh, that's something I'm not sure about. They're the little things that we're going to look after for you.
Yeah, so people don't realize how much depth is involved in running a business. And, even if you're someone who's got a bookkeeping background, the amount of work that's out there just for a bookkeeper, because people will start a small business, particularly trades. I've found working with a husband who's a tradie. They don't have that background of business. They don't have bookkeeping. And that's why I've gone into doing social media, because not everybody understands the concept of social media. Like you were saying, using different programs so that you can make your social media even work, so that you can grow your business that way. Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's exactly right. My biggest thing I notice is, even though I was a travel consultant for over a decade, I didn't have to be proactive and go and find my clients. I didn't have to forecast or have, I had KPIs, but it was so easy. The phone would ring and I'd say, do you want to book it? Do you want to book it? And that was it. So as in now, for the new business, to keep your business going, you need to know how to forecast. You need to know how to analyze and strategize for your following year, which goes one-in-one sort of thing with goals. So that's the sort of thing, so we've got lots of work to do. Yes, lots of work to do to help try and keep a business going, because you're always going to have, as we know, retention. People are always going to drop off, so you've got to be able to keep building.
Yeah. And definitely networking is going to help, because you'll find people that are going to help you grow your business that, you might know how to do it, or you might find, like Dot, for an example. I love her cards, and I'm going to work with her to make, little thank you cards for my clients, because, little things like that, I think is key to keeping your clients happy. And, you don't always get those little nice things in the post anymore, because we're all about email and
that's right.
Phone calls gone because we can Zoom now, and things like that. Yeah, definitely.
That's right. That's exactly right. So that's exactly right. The bigger the group, the more opportunities we'll have, ways of finding out and to make life easier for us, so we can get on with making money in our business, which is what it's all about.
Definitely. What we all need to keep going is money in our business.
Yes.
And we need to keep supporting Australian businesses, because if anything that COVID has taught us is we need to buy in our own country, because, we're not getting the stuff from overseas as frequently now. So we need to be able to support our own people.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's right. And at that winery,
yes,
as I said, I'm going back there, and what did I buy? Their own chocolate port. Oh, And also they have a cream, which is like an Irish cream, but it's not based on whiskey, it's based on brandy. That was divine as well. So
I don't like their wine. I'm not a wine drinker, and I didn't like their wine. I've been there a few times myself, but
I'm
not a fan of the wine.
No. I said, I don't know. I don't drink that stuff. Yeah, I said, I just want this other yummy stuff. Yeah, so I'm into the liqueurs and I love that port. So I thought I feel good because I've supported the local.
That's it, definitely. And we must support local. Now that I've moved to the country, I highly suggest that we support our local people. Because you just see there's a lot of businesses out here that have closed down, and it's due to COVID. There's just not the business, and the farmers are struggling, so the town struggles. So yes, please support your Australian suppliers.
Yeah, I just feel sorry because there's a new area up in Tamborine Mountain that when I was there a couple of years ago, it was pumping. There was a band and there was a bar up the back, and at the front there was cheese factory, one was called, and they were serving out different cheeses, and one was Witch's Chase cheese. Now I went to Witch's Chase cheese decade ago up in their little front, at the front of their house sort of thing, up a side street, and they'd moved to this new building. Well, now that building is empty, and when I googled Witch's Chase and tried to ring the number, it's disconnected. So they've lost their whole business, they've lost their whole livelihood, and it was a divine cheese, just divine. So it's very sad. It is very sad. So yeah, we do. Very sad. Definitely. COVID or not.
Australian first.
That's exactly right. Definitely. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been great talking to you. And I know that we're all excited to see what 2021 holds for all of us, and including the network. I know I'm excited to see what we're going to create in 2021. Yeah. And I'm sure you are as well.
Yeah. And Visionary Business Hub is organic marketing at its best.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. That was a great chat.
We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Let me. I hope you enjoyed watching this Visionary Business Hub video. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so please feel free to leave a comment. Also, if you think there's someone who might benefit from watching this video, please pass it on. Before you go, take a look at the other Visionary Business Hub videos that we have, and if you believe there is benefit in having a video about your own business, please feel free to contact me. To learn more about the value of being in the Visionary Business Hub, or to get your free VBH mini-zine, go to my website www.bydonnaarnold.com/Visionary Business Hub. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.